Hey, YouTubers. I hope you're doing well. So I was gonna. I had a helmet that I got my dad a couple years ago for Christmas. It was a German World War II helmet, and I wanted to wear it because I wanted to go over what I'm about ready to talk about. But I don't need it. We couldn't find it, and I remember my cousin wanted to use it, and so I don't know if Dad, if we lend it to cousin Tommy or not. I got to call you, Tommy, and see if you borrowed it. Uh, I can't. I remember being kind of uncomfortable, but I want to kind of take you guys through, what it takes to become more empathic, because empathy is a really strong thing, in our lives. But a lot of times it's hard to get to a place of empathy because it depends on your level of self awareness. Your own level of self awareness will determine how well you can have empathy for other people, how you feel. Um, there's a common misunderstanding about projected energies and accepted energies. We're living in this field of universal intelligence, right? And you're accessing it through this vessel. Knowing that is the beginning of understanding. Sorry, I just need to get a little more comfortable. I always sit cross-legged in my chair. I can't help it. It just makes more sense to me to sit cross-legged in your chair. Do you guys sit cross-legged in your chair? um, Knowing that means that a projected energy from another vessel, because you're creating, all the vessels are creating, and but it's a conduit for creating. It's not the creator itself, if that makes sense. So who are you, right? Are you the creator or the created? Because you can create this body to become whatever you want it to look like. You can make it fat, skinny, you know, whatever, right? But you're not that thing. You're never the created thing. You're always the creator. So technically speaking, if all of us are one and coming from one place, there's no way that we can really harm one another. If we come from a place of knowing this and say, hey, we're just immortal, accessing this little playground we have here through a vessel, that's the way we have to access it, right? You have to access everything through a vessel. You always do. There's always a conductor to access something. Then it becomes a lot easier to detach from the projected energies of somebody else if you feel like it's causing you a negative state of mind, or if it's dragging you down. If you don't have that understanding, if that's not the way you look at the world, it can be so easy to fall into judgment of somebody else who is not seeing it that same way. For example, and I brought up the German helmet, the Nazi thing, because let's say I put on the mind of someone in World War II who feels like their country is being victimized by another country, or feel like you have to attack another group of people in order to keep everybody else safe, right? Totally different frame of mind. Now, that's going to bring you a lot of stress, right? Because now you don't feel safe. Creates the fight or flight syndrome, puts you in emotional states where you're worried about your own well-being, and not don't might get pulled into an emotional state that's getting projected onto you. Let's say I'm in a room filled with people crying after a major explosion, and let's say we saw a bunch of people die around us. Very hard to get into a state of mind where you could conquer your own mind and elevate the state of mind of the people around you, right? Because um, you can feel all that projected energy and those projected emotions around you. The same thing goes into the hardening of the heart and mind when somebody, you walk into an area where everybody's attacking one another, or even business environments where people are trying to sell everything to each other, understanding that that's just a state of mind that doesn't understand that you're whole and you're always coming from a place of pure source. You're the creator, and the way you create your reality is the way you create your own state of mind, regardless of what the projections are of the people around you. Very hard to master that. That's what self mastery is. I just put a post about this on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I think I'm just going to attach this video to that post. And it's something that I'm going to talk about tomorrow in my Co-Creative Roundtable. So if you guys are interested in joining my Co-Creative Roundtable, you can let me know in the comments or whatever. Because self-mastery is a very hard thing to get to. You need to be able to block energies, but at the same time be empathic to the state of other people. And if people don't want to hear about a state of non-conflict, where I'm no longer in conflict with my environment, then it's best just to walk away, right? Because there's no reason. If you're trying to heal the mind, right, there's nothing wrong with you. There's never been anything wrong with you or me. All of us have gone through positive and negative states of mind because in some ways we were emotionally attached to the projections around us, right? So, I can do this, right? Look deep into my eyes. There's nothing wrong with you. Right? I was talking to you, Donna, but the eyes are the window to the soul. And it's okay to feel sorrow for the emotional states of other people. It really is, because it's natural for us to have empathy. If you see somebody going through pain, and if you understand that they're putting themselves through pain, the hardest thing to get across to somebody is the fact that they're doing that to themselves, and it's not something that's happening to them. That state of mind is so hard to get out of because you'll invariably, because of the world that we grew up in, until it elevates in consciousness, there's always going to be parts of it that's going to want to blame something out there for making this feel the way it's feeling. Very difficult. And so healing the mind is what accesses you to your higher self, because now you're no longer in conflict, and all you're doing is just sending that healing energy to people that are in conflict, and doing it in a way that's supportive, and just supporting them at whatever level of consciousness they're at, right? You don't ever want to fight where somebody's at. Try and change their beliefs, because if you're actively trying to bludgeon them with what you believe versus what they believe, then they're just going to fight you, right? I'm sure you guys know this more than anybody. There's no way that you can fight somebody on a belief system that they have right here. It's like, this is what I believe. If I don't do this, then I can't be this, or I'm not safe unless I am this. One thing I have realized, and this is true, and this is the negative side of that. I heard somebody talk about this, and this is what's actually you're seeing in the group collective. People are raising their consciousness, and they're starting to understand a lot of these things and getting detached. There's you go through phases, because you'll go through phases where you get detached from negative projections from you, people, judging you in certain ways, and then learning to transmute that energy and learning to say that's not me. That's just somebody producing an energy towards me, right? Then there's the next stage where you're actively creating your own state of being. Once you can get to a place where you can actively create your own state of being, regardless of what environment you're in, of what energies are being projected at you, now you can get to a place where you're altering the perception of the reality of the people around you, because now they can't affect you. Even if they wanted to affect you in a certain way, they can't, right? This can trigger some people, because some people actually love to negatively affect the people around them, or positively. Like if they can't manipulate you in some way, it will upset someone. Right? I mean, a lot of narcissistic controlling people out there. And we won't ever really get to a place of true co-creation of this reality until people really get to a place of self-mastery. Because you're always going to fall into some old version, especially if somebody, you get into a group of people and you can just imagine this, and I've done this before. Everybody's fighting, right? And you can see if you're at a certain energetic state, everybody's some kind of conflict, or they're arguing about something or some belief system. Who knows? Could be anything, right? If you get drawn into that in any way, instead of standing kind of outside of it, now you can stand in a place of detachment, but you can also do it from a place of emotional empathy, where you're providing compassion for what people maybe need to hear, but not actively trying to change their belief systems, right? And the negative, what I was talking about, the negative side of that is that somebody that's in a victimized mindset will be affected by you, and you will be able to actively control them with healing energy until they understand what you're trying to do for them, until they master themselves. And so, in a lot of ways, just knowing that has prevented me from doing any kind of coaching of any kind. I would rather show you a process to master yourself emotionally and mentally and do what it is that you need to do for you, versus me give you advice on anything. Now, I would love to give you, what I would tell you is put yourself in service of the people around you. And you'll find out that everything is going to trigger you, right? For one thing, if you do that, and you do it altruistically, you're not going to make that much money. But you'll find out that what happens is you start to learn to transmute your own state of being. And that process is what creates the magnet within yourself. Now you're creating a magnet. Now you're creating your own reality. Now it's fun to exchange energies with anybody at any time. It doesn't matter who it is or where they're at. And people appreciate that, right? People appreciate the fact that it doesn't matter what state of being you're in. They always know that they can come to you, and you're always just the way you are, right? So it is the most important thing I think that anybody can go through. To be rich in spirit. Who doesn't want to be rich in spirit? Everything else will take care of itself. And it always does, because if you're showing love and compassion and empathy for everybody that feels like the world's out to get them and the world's out to attack them, then you'll always be a place of peace for the people that want to get away from that. And then they're going to want to know, what are you doing to get to whatever it is? How are you the way you are? Because and they'll see, and then you can explain it to them. It's very spiritual, right? Very spiritual experience. And so in the group collective, that's what we're feeling right now, is this elevated state of mind in different levels. And as long as you're trying to sell yourself in any way, that's going to create stress in your life. The best thing you can do is just keep creating for the people around you, trying to create positive energy for the people around you. And don't actively try to manipulate their state of mind, but just do something that would make them feel appreciated and feel loved, right? And I actually, you and I, Donna, were talking about this. I love you so much, just because you get to a place and you fall in love with somebody, and you get to a place it's like, control me, baby. You must. Because that we all have this dark side where we have our dark desires, but it's part of us. It's part of you're looking at a field, right? A positive and negative field so you have this creative potential and this attractive potential, and your attractive potential that's where your desires are, right? That's where your deep longings and wants for certain things are. And so that's where you want to, grab something and just, you guys know what I mean. And so mastering those sides of yourself and accepting yourself for that's just part of this reality pulls you into balance because now you're not acting, you're not fighting anybody or anything. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be the most dysfunctional German soldier in World War II history, and you'd be able to stand next to him and probably have to walk away, right? But I mean, if they ever got to a place of surrender where they honestly say, hey, look, I need help, then you'd be in a place where you could help them and you could probably heal their mind in ways that they didn't think was possible, and say, look, you have the power to do whatever it is you need to do for yourself. I'm just here to let you know that I'm always here for you because you and I are one. And yeah, there's nothing that will mean more. Just because you don't need it doesn't mean you don't want it, right? I think all of us can get to a place where it doesn't feel like we need something, but we do want it. Why would I not want to co-create with a group of people and build a world that is beautiful from the inside out? Why wouldn't we want that? Why do we have to keep doing things, right? And it makes you realize why the things are being done the way they're being done. And you can love it, right? Because you can see it growing and changing. And as soon as you get to a place where you've changed yourself from the inside out, you can teach that to the people around you and say, look, we don't have to do things the old way anymore. We can do things a different way. We can do things where we're all supporting each other and loving each other and going on trips together and having adventures together. We can go do whatever we want together, right? Yeah. So I love you guys, and let's get an oracle reading. When you're thinking about the big picture, think about that and how the consciousness of everybody around us is changing, and how we're you're just becoming more at peace with yourself and everybody around you. Sometimes you get pulled into conflicts because it's not your choice. That people are looking for conflict anyway. They feel like they're in conflict with you. And if you've got old contracts that you're trying to close, because everybody's got old contracts they're trying to close, especially now, that those conflicts aren't necessarily bad, but you always have a choice to bring peace into a situation and just let people know, hey, this is what I want. It's not what I need, it's what I want, because I deserve it, right? I'm a valuable human being. I'm a valuable part of this creation that I'm accessing this reality the same as you are, and we want to make it as fun for me as it is for you. And if you don't want to make it fun for me, then that's your deal. It's not my deal. That's up to you, right? Take a time out. I pulled the timeout card. Interesting. Take a time out. Sometimes it is time to take a time out to reflect on maybe the way that we've treated ourselves. Maybe we need to treat ourselves better. See what's next, right? Reflect and see how we feel about ourselves. Let's get one more. Interesting that the timeout card came out. Mirrored Souls. I think this card's really cool because it shows this spiraling connected heart and mind. Isn't that cool? It's a spiraling connected heart and mind. The minds are united and branching out from a connection point, and the hearts are spiraling towards each other into one heart. There's only one heart there. That's beautiful. So beautiful. feel like I want to pull another card. Both aspects of yourself are represented in the Lover's card. Knight of Wands. We got Lovers and the Knight of Wands. We got fiery energy with the Lover's card. I like Aleister Crowley's deck because he does such an interesting job. This one is similar to the Rider-Waite deck. You've got... look at this card. There's multiple aspects of the Lovers. There's the childlike energy. There's a childlike energy. Then there's the king and queen energy above them, right? And then kind of the master, there's one consciousness above it. And then ethereal beings above that. Very interesting. And a little Cupid up on top. Right? I'm not going to leave that with you guys. Because you're falling in love with yourself. And you're falling in love with both aspects. And so a lot of us are doing that, right? You're falling in love with both aspects of yourself. Your creative energy. And healing yourself. And falling into this natural attractive energy where you just attract the things that you need. You don't have to work actively, constantly, right? You shouldn't have to. I mean, why would we want to live here if we had to just, bust our butt all day long, just to try and survive? That's survival mode. That's fight or flight syndrome. You're fighting to try and stay alive, right? You don't have to. You're immortal. You should never have to fight to stay alive. Take a time out. Fall in love with somebody. Fall in love with yourself. You'll never be able to love somebody else more than you can love yourself. I love you guys. And I love you, Donna. I love you, babe. I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day.